Warning: some contents may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Before I start this story, I just want to thank you all for your support. I understand that some of you might have been concerned for my safety, and therefore, I'm obliged to tell you that I'm fine. Actually, more than fine, but I'll tell you more about that later. I also saw a comment that told me, "You didn't know what to do with the package, so you threw it away?" Twice. Knowing what these people are like and how expensive everything seems to be. No one would do that. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous and completely idiotic. Now, I can't blame you. I understand why you're telling me that my choice to do so was idiotic. It would have been, if it weren't for the cops that had started to pop up outside my warehouse. That is what I meant with unwanted attention and friendly visits. So when I get a package with no address, when I ask people around about it and get no answer, I just assume that it's there to expose me, kill me, or hurt me. And now that I've explained that, let's get into today's story. I messed up. Not your regular old, "Oopsies, I came late to work," kind of messed up, but rather a, "Oopsie, I'll probably get tortured until I die in front of people on the dark web," kind of messed up. And before I tell you about what I messed up, let me warn you. Never make a deal that messes someone over. Not sure if you understood me, but never make a deal that messes someone over, especially if it's on the dark web. Yet again, I don't recommend you being on the dark web. Sure, it might be boring, but boring and alive is much better than excited and dead. Don't make my mistake. No amount of money is worth dying for. Or, that was a lie. Everyone has a price, and this was mine. So, it's been a little hectic since my last post. Everything has gone downhill since then, but let me start with the beginning of everything. It's the morning after I got that package. I haven't been able to sleep tonight, so I've decided to do this, alright? It might not be the smartest idea I've had in my entire life, but I mean, I had to screw someone over. So I decided to message Miranda. I made a deal with her first. She was the better paying of them over time. And I know I'm greedy, but hell if I'm risking my fat ass for something, I'd rather do it for money than morale. Judge me as much as you want, I don't really care now. It's already been done. Off track again. Shit. I need to write it down. If not, my story will never be heard. Well, I messaged Miranda. I said, "Hey, Miranda, it's Paul. We need to talk right now. Call me when you can." And God as my witness, she answered in what felt like seconds. "Shit, alright. I'm in the area, I'll meet you. Come to the place you drop off the packages for me. 1 hour. Don't be late." And there was nothing more to it. Before I left, I packed up my laptop, burner phones, and made some sandwiches. I wasn't planning on actually coming back. And before I left, I took out that .45 ACP that I had under the desk in case of some hooligans trying to get to me. And after quickly packing down the gun, I took the small box that I had received from Miranda and I went on my way to the location given to me. Upon arrival, I saw a gathering of cars outside the old warehouse, and as I proceeded to park my car beside one of the vehicles standing there, I picked my gun and tugged it down the back of my pants. I walked in to be greeted by Miranda. "Hey, Paul. Thanks for meeting me up. Do you have the package?" she said with a cheery voice. "Yeah, I do. What is in this damn thing that made Jack willing to pay a fortune to get it?" I asked in a serious tone. "Well, since you didn't mess me over," she said as she gestured to give her the box. I hesitated for a second before I slowly handed her the package. "Thank you," she said while inspecting the box for damage. She opened the box and took out a small glass box with metal corners. Inside of the glass box was a small purple or black ball that looked to be pulsating. "This," she said while shaking the little box. "This is the first confirmed black matter piece created by humans." I just stood with a confused face. "You're kidding, right?" I said with a small chuckle. Her face went all serious in an instant, almost like I had offended her just by asking. "Yes, of course I'm serious," she said in an annoyed tone. "How? Why? Why me?" I said, confused. "Well," she said while putting the glass box down, "I've never had an issue with you or your deliveries the past year, so I didn't think it would be now." She sounded genuine, so I just nodded and said, "What should we do about Jack? If we do nothing, I'll be dead," I said seriously, almost threatening. Miranda just looked at me with a straight face, not breaking an inch. We probably stood there for a solid minute or so before she finally spoke. "Well, I think it's time to change the management at Jack's organization," she said with a half smile. She nodded to one of the guards that were there to come over. She continued to whisper something in his ear before looking back at me. "I need your help. I need you to lure Jack out. Do you know what to do with the box you told me about?" "Not sure," I said, thinking what to do next. "I suppose I'll message Jack and ask," I continued. She nodded and I started to write to Jack. "Hey man, so I got what I promised you. What do you want me to do with it?" I typed out before clicking send. And it didn't take longer than a few seconds before I got a message back. "Perfect. Let's meet at the gas station," he wrote back to me. "He wants to meet up," I said to Miranda. She thought about it for a while before speaking. "Then, so be it," she said before ushering me along to another room. She pulled out an empty glass box, exactly like the other one, before dropping down a marble on the small stand that the glass box contained. "This should do it," she said with a smirk and handed me the box. "Give him this," she said, not stopping to smirk. Now, I thought this was crazy, but what choice did I have? I had already played my hand with Miranda, so I went to the gas station, and before I even pulled up to the gas station, I got a strange feeling in my gut. It's hard to explain. It was almost like a primal instinct kicked in that told me to get away from there as fast as I could bear. Now, since I must be freaking stupid, I didn't listen to my gut. I continued to pull up to the gas station, and I walked up to the cashier, but before I could even open my mouth, something hit me in the back of my head. "What the hell, man? Why did you hit him so hard?" The boss told us to keep him alive. I heard a deep voice say. Oh, shut the hell up, Roger. You do it the next time if it's so freaking easy, eh? The other man said with a harsh tone. He's starting to wake up, said Roger. I tried to move, but my hands and legs were tied up, so I just kind of wobbled on the concrete floor like a fish on the land or a snake stuck on ice. They continued to drag me, and I must have hit my head again, because I passed out just to wake up in what looked like a basement. I was still tied up, of course, and I could hear people talking outside. The boss will come any second, a male voice said. Yeah, this show is going to be fantastic, said another guy outside the door. Both people started laughing until I heard what sounded like gunfire outside. Hey, what was that? Said the first guy. I don't know, man. I'll go check it out, the second guy said. And not long after, I heard two heavy thuds. Something I can just assume was the two guards falling to the floor. The basement door slowly crept open as a dark figure stood at the doorway with a silenced gun in its hand. Now I was scared. Scared for my life. I thought it was me this guy was after, so I started crawling the best I could the other way from this figure. Now, I've been hit pretty damn hard in my head, so my vision was a bit faded. I mean, shit, it still is. I was more scared than I have ever been when he came down those stairs. It felt like hours as he took one step. Why the hell did I get myself into this? 2 steps. Man, I regret it. I regret it all. 3 steps. Leave me the hell alone! I yelled at the figure walking towards me. I'm not here to hurt you, the figure said in a deep voice, probably the deepest voice that I have ever heard. We did promise you safety, the figure said. What the hell does this person mean? Safety? Who promised me safety? The boss wants to talk to you, the figure said. I was easily picked up by the figure, and I tried to get away as much as I could, but it got me in a strong grip. I was put in the back of a van and we drove for I don't even know how long. I fell back and forth out of consciousness on the trip, but we finally arrived. I blinked frantically trying to adjust to the light outside the van. You alright, man? A female voice said. Miranda? I said, confused. Hey guys, can you cut those things off? Let him move, Jesus. I heard the female voice say to what I assumed was the figure from before. Yes, of course, ma'am, the figure said. He proceeded to cut the rope around my hands and legs, and I could feel my muscles loosen its tension. Thank you, I mumbled harshly. The female that I now could see clearer was Miranda. I couldn't believe it. I was going to live. It's over, Miranda said. Jack won't be a problem for none of us anymore. Thank you. I owe you, she said with a soft smile. Now that all of this is over, I got a proposition for you, she said with a grin. So, I have to stop here and tell you something that has a lot of value to what I'm about to tell you, so you guys don't know yet what I studied. If this was yesterday, I'd prefer not to say, but as you know, it's not yesterday. Anyway, I studied molecular physics at a prestigious university in northern Sweden. Yes, also a thing that you guys didn't know about me yet. I also studied astrophysics in my spare time, so yes, you could say that I'm fairly smart. Now that that's over, I'll get back to the story. Miranda ushered me forward into this cabin at a lakeside, and we walked into a large dinner table that was too big for the room. She looked at me with that serious face she had when we talked business. I'd like to offer you a position at a project that's going to change the future. I could need your expertise in let's call it a project of mine, she said with the same smirk as before. I thought about it for a second because I don't want to be dragged into some crazy shit as I just got dragged into it, but I had to ask. What project? I asked with a serious face, not really convinced on the whole project idea yet, and she looked around for a bit and nodded to the guards to leave the room. It must have been minutes before she finally decided to speak. Time travel, she said, looking at me like it was something that she had been holding in forever. I understand how it sounds, but I'm not joking. That little piece of dark matter will change the world, she said, and glared off into the distance like she was dreaming herself away. Money won't be a problem. Me and my organization got enough to last you 1,000,000 lifetimes. And she continued, not leaving her gaze. What's the catch? I said jokingly while giving her a little smile. You're going to have to leave everything behind and never look back, she said, not looking at me with a slightly sad expression. We sat quietly for a while before I finally told her. So, where do I sign up? So tell me that this isn't something you'd say yes to also. Sure, you're going to basically stop existing publicly and all your family will think you've died. But sometimes, life is too short to pass upon opportunities that present itself in the worst times possible. My dad always told me to do things I thought were impossible, and this certainly was considered impossible. So, I'll be in touch if I discover the universe's final secret. Until then, sincerely yours, Paul.
Listener, please beware. This message is an automated message and could be flawed due to hasty translation errors. TransTimeScript takes no further responsibility for the following message, and all complaints are to be forwarded directly to the headquarters at 4137 Armstrong Avenue, Latilia Valley, Mars. Our in-office times are as follows: Monday to Thursday, 7:45 to 16:45. Fridays, 12 to 14:30. Saturday, closed. Sunday, closed. If you need assistance in an emergency situation, please refer to the safety protocol found on the backside of your TransTimeScript machine. Start transcript.
God damn it. Stupid machine. Please, work for once. Ah, you ancient piece of shit. Is how it sounded before I started typing this message out. Now, I get that you might be a little bit confused right now, but you shouldn't. Everything is fine here. Now, I'm not sure which date or even year it is for you, I was planning on hitting this around 8 p.m. on the 20th of June 2022. Hopefully, I've hit it right. If not, well, tough shit. Nah, who am I joking? I know this went through at the right time. I mean, it was me. Now, as you've probably already figured it out, I made it. I invented time travel. Suck it, Einstein. Alright. It might have been a bit of a road there, and not as fluent as you'd like. But hey, you didn't invent it, so I make the rules. So it's pretty damn simple. Now you press a button, and then poof, you're where you want. Isn't that cool? Alright, there is more to it than that. Now, time travel isn't exactly viable yet, and I've only managed to send messages back in time so far, which you're reading right now. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And now that it's been pretty chill since we last spoke, it feels like forever. Now for me, it's been almost 30 years. But for you, it's only been a few hours. A day-ish? Right? Anyway, you guys might want to know how this even happened, and let me tell you. So, Miranda, she's, well, dead. Now, Miranda happened to be a very good friend of mine, so I was saddened by this, to be honest. So I will not speak about this any further because if I do, I know I would have stopped it. Now, you all have some questions about the future, so let me answer some of them for you. To begin with, games. Yes, most of the questions were actually about games, and I have two things to say about it. First of all, nerd, and second of all, you've jinxed it. So Half-Life 3. No, that's not happening. They teased it to get some funding. Then the developers cashed out and ran with the cash. GTA 6? Actually happened, but it was delayed out the window and the game was mostly shit, to be honest. They decided to link GTA Online between GTA 6 and GTA 5, so it was basically the same game, which was kinda sad. There were also some worries about me going back in time and making them not exist. Now, how important that would be or not doesn't really interest me. All I can say about it is simple. Watch your back. I might go back just to smack you to make you be on the edge again. And now, jokes aside, let me tell you about the development of the trans time script. Now, this was my genius idea. Hopefully you all got the joke, transcript and time, cause it's time travel. Yeah, you get it. Man, I've gotten older. I remember how my younger self hated that joke. Therefore, I had to do it again. Now the development of this has been kept in secret as part of the deal with Miranda when I got this damn job. And now that I've been officially dead ever since that day that I took the job, everyone thinks I got killed in a gas explosion at my warehouse. Both me and Miranda thought that this was a genius idea, and it just so happened to be just that. So you see, I have had a grand time up until this very moment actually, because I've been trying to send this message probably around 1 million times by now over the whole development phase. So if this is the one that went through, well, hell yeah. Let me tell you about this apparatus. This thing looks like an old PC from the 90s with a built-in screen. It has what we call a FDR, or a flux disk reader. Now, these flux disks are amazing, I'm telling you. They're about the same size as a microchip, but can fit up to 1 petabyte of storage so far. Now, these discs are what I use to send this message. They're all different from each other and is also one of my own little inventions. This machine doesn't have a keyboard though. It only has a screen that shows the information you need and nothing more. So, you really can't browse the internet through it, nor can you really do anything with it besides that. It's not that exciting looking at it like that, but trust me, it's pretty dope. So today's story comes as a warning, rather than a brag about time travel. You see, only one of these messages came through out of the thousands that I sent out. Now, we got a response, and it wasn't for me. And this is how it read.
Log entry NRC14 WTR 76509.
Hello? Is there anyone there? If you can hear me, please, help me. I've been stuck here for centuries. Please, help me. Shit, I should have never agreed to this. Shit.
Transmission ended.
Now, this really had me spooked up. Who the hell would even know about this thing besides me? I'm the only one that knows about this. The others in the team don't know what we do here. They mostly do calculations without knowing what the end goal is. So, you see why this had me spooked. But this wasn't the creepiest part. I got this message a few days ago too.
Log entry NRC14 WTR3 76510.
Come on, you idiot. It's me, Big Red. Can you please help me? I'm going insane here.
Transmission ended.
Now, this really made me scared shitless. So you see, I'm Big Red. It's what my dad always used to call me when I was, well, officially alive. But you see, Big Red is what I usually want to call myself on the internet or in other anonymous situations. Fuck me. I said out loud in my office when I read this the first time. You see, there's a few options to what has actually happened, and none of them is good. Now, these are my two hypotheses that I think are equally likely, or well, I guess unlikely. Hypothesis 1. The first hypothesis is that I've managed to make a time loop of sorts when trying to send out these messages. So basically, when you send something back in time, what you actually do is that you create an exact copy of that timeline, so everything is identical from start to finish on this line besides this exact little thing. That one of the timelines managed to receive a message and the other didn't. Now, this means basically that we split time into two, which could result in one of them getting tangled. Now, if the one where I successfully invented a trans-time script gets tangled up, it could create an infinite loop where time repeats the exact same over and over and over again, while the person in the loop keeps living the same moments. The body doesn't deteriorate or anything, but the mind remembers everything. Almost like Groundhog Day. You know that old movie from 1993 with Bill Murray and Andy McDowell? Perhaps not. Well, anyway, this would result in that the other me of sorts would try to contact out of this loop to try to get it resolved, not knowing how to. Now, some of you might know the issue here. If that me doesn't know how to, why would I think that this me could? Point proven. Hypothesis 2. Now, the second hypothesis is actually pretty simple. I've managed to contact myself, but from the future where I've perhaps been able to invent human travel through time. If this is the case, I've made a grave mistake and probably gotten myself in a messed up time paradox. And if that happens, well, tough luck me. Now, that second option would be, well, tragic for me. Now, the second hypothesis is more likely in my unprofessional opinion, but I guess it's exactly the same probability to be. The only thing that's certain is that I wish to be in the timeline where it works out and not the timeline where, well, you know. So Paul, this is for you. Don't mess with time. You don't know the precautions on what you're about to do. You're messing with forces you know nothing about. Even to this day, you still don't know shit. When you start messing with time, you start messing with existence. The only reason why I still do this is because of Miranda. Well, the only reason why we're still doing this is because of Miranda. You'll understand one day, when you're older. Now, to you readers, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you have the option to travel in time or mess with things and you get a bad feeling about, listen to that bad feeling, alright? Those feelings, dude, are the feelings that keep you alive. That's the feeling that is carved into your DNA to keep you out of danger. Also, before I forget, Paul, don't listen to the man with the
Transmission ended.
And here are the top comments from my last video. And here's the riddle for this video. Hello everyone, it's your creepy sister here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. But I would also like to thank my amazing patrons, my top tippers, and my dearest channel members. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it with all of my heart. If you want to support the channel further, you could also choose to become a patron, a tipper, or a channel member. But remember, it's appreciated, but never a requirement. I would also like to announce that we have merch now. The link is in the description of the video, along with all my other social media links, like my Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, and others. You can connect with me and send your stories there. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and comments are highly appreciated. And remember, your fear feeds me.